Oops. Oops. There we go. There we go. Almost closed Discord instead of my text. My
Ooh.
basic criteria. So rule zero of is it a dad movie or not is honestly just could I imagine a dad like kids are away, wife is out of town, grilling up a pork chop, opening a beer, and just watching this movie. So like Gladiator, Master and Commander, uh, Crimson Tide, things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
movies about authority, but like not like jerks or what I don't know. It's like yeah,
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 not fascism.
yeah, not exactly like earned authority. But yeah, not authoritarians, but authorities.
Yeah.
So like the in Crimson Tide is a master of everything that he is doing, but he's making bad decisions that are out of date, and Denzel Washington has to save the day or things like that. So the question was, there is now. This is great. There's gonna be a list of them that we're going to be compiling, and I love it.
Do you feel like there's a genre requirement for a dad movie?
No, but like that's the thing though, is all the ones that immediately come to mind are all war movies or otherwise military movies. Like Master and Commander is perfect. Gladiator, I guess Gladiator is not really a war movie, but it is it is war-ish.
See, because I
Like
think
the old
in the same vein of authority and earned respect. I mean, I think you got Battlestar Galactica with Admiral Adama.
sports movies like Hoosiers.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
And
there you go.
I think Star Trek too, Next Generation specifically because of Picard being the older,
Yeah,
bald leader.
yeah, like that's a really good example because I say Master and Commander is like one of the perfect ones because the guy who isn't good enough at his job and realizes that he's just always going to be a midshipman for the rest of his life jumps off the ship because he's like I'm not good enough to be here. And then also all dads can picture themselves being Russell Crowe in that movie and benevolently, wow, that's a hard word to say, benevolently overseeing all of their children on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the key component of a dad movie is that you're a good dad. Like like a bad dad would like I don't know, they would like a movie like Scarface or whatever, that sort of thing. But I mean like a good dad who's like, no, I must protect all my kids on this ship. And yes, we're gonna go into combat, so some of them are gonna die, but I'm not gonna waste any of them needlessly or whatever.
Mm-hmm. The
Yeah.
inevitability of what will happen, but facing it anyway.
Yeah, and like
Know,
trying to
knowing
prepare
it's a
them.
tragedy, but an inevitable tragedy.
Yeah, yeah, and like doing your best to prepare them. Like part of the reason that midshipman and Master and Commander jumped off the ship was because he realized he was never going to be ready for the battle, and he was going to like hold back everyone else. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Sports movies, those are also good ones. I can easily think of a couple sports movies. Comedies, I have a harder time like thinking of that. I can only think of the comedies that my dad liked. Like he loved Spies Like Us. That's Chevy
Hmm.
Chase and Dan Aykroyd basically doing like a Bob Hope and Bing Crosby road movie. And so, but I mean, like that's my dad. I don't know if it's just something dads in general would like, though.
I mean, I think for comedy, I think of like National Lampoon or like
Yeah,
I don't know.
like you know what it is. I think dads like an actor, like for at least for comedy, like they like Chevy Chase. Nah. Maybe, you know what? Okay. I think maybe the reason there aren't as many dad movie comedies is because, like, you can watch comedies with your family. Like, maybe not, like, raunchy comedies or whatever, but you can't really watch, like, Saving Private Ryan with, like, hey, let's all sit down for 3 hours and watch Saving Private Ryan. They're just not going to go for it.
Yeah, the 3 hours is not the problem. You're not sitting with the family.
Oh yeah. Well, no, well the 3 hour. Yeah, you're right. 3 hours is part of the problem right then and there, and then also like just the blood and all that. You're like, yeah, they're not going to want to watch this. But yeah. Oops, this is not my document. Sorry, I loaded up our docs. I didn't load up the document that I wrote and did not quite finish.
What about like? Is there like a high fantasy? I'm trying to think of one. I mean, if you're Christian, obviously Narnia, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, look, Lord of the Rings, because everyone like again, Aragorn really so you got a team coming together, and Aragorn really feels for his companions, and he's stepping into this role of responsibility of becoming a dad for an entire kingdom.
Yeah, I think for Lord of the Rings, it's actually not any member of the Fellowship. I think that makes like the authority figure. I know Aragorn becomes that.
Yeah,
but I think it's more like the most dad movie figure in Lord of the Rings, I think, is Theoden. Because he is 100% that guy, right? Who is preparing his kingdom for war.
Theoden King. Sorry, I was trying to remember which one it was.
Knowing it's going to be rough. And they're probably going to die. But doing what you got to do, preparing them.
Yeah. Theoden King. Yeah. I'm trying to think of others. Well, I do think that Survivor is a dad show, even though not as many dads that I know watch it. Most of the people I know who watch it are women. But I think it's a dad show because people they fuck around and then they find out. You know what I mean? And like that level of like justice in the world. You know what I mean? Just speaks to like the dad. Like yeah. And then there's also like competent people who are playing it and like, I'm gonna do this fish up for you guys real nice. Here it is. Like remember a couple episodes ago, Tevin was like, I'm gonna scale the fish, I'm gonna gut it.
My dad taught me how to do this. This brings me closer to my father again. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like that's dad stuff. Yeah. Apollo 13. It's a bunch of we gotta solve this problem so we can get home from this road trip safe. Yeah. Okay, anyway, sorry, I assume you've been recording for most of that. So, hi, welcome to Outwit, Outplay, Outcast, our podcast on Night of the Living Geeks, Night of the Living Geeks Network. We're going to be talking about season 46, episode 5. Is it 5 or 6?
5.
It's 5. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it is episode 5, Tiki Man. Tiki Man. And,
Tiki Man.
Yeah. I'm Nick, and that's Andy. And Brian is unavailable today because we're recording on Monday, which is very much not a day that we normally record. But hey, these things, they happen.
That's what happens when it's a recap show. Sometimes we wait a few days.
Yeah, sometimes we gotta wait, and sometimes we wait long enough that I only vaguely remember the episode. But that's fine because I luckily wrote down what happened, and it goes a little something like this. Q, Kenzie, and Tiffany are the worst tribe in history, and they spend the cold opening moping. Sega wants to play, but just keeps winning, so instead they take salsa lessons, and like, what the fuck are we even doing anymore? There's this much of a disparity between the tribes that one tribe is salsa dancing. Nami is searching for idols, not knowing Randon's is back in play. Hunter lives up to his name and finds the box. We go straight to an immunity and reward challenge. Jeff calls Yanu losers to their face.
Mm-hmm.
Nami denominates, like dominates, right? Denominates again, and Yanu finally catches a fucking break because Tiki Man took too long to find a key. So now the salsa team will taste blood. But first, a journey. Q, Tim, and Hunter meet on the beach and form a 6-person alliance that will absolutely not last long.
Mm-hmm.
They select Hunter to take a Survivor trivia quiz, and he must list seasons in chronological order by their logos. And good God, what the hell? That predictably, and I don't say that like, oh, he sucks. I say like, that is the hardest thing I've ever seen. So predictably, he loses because friggin' come on. He has a life, so of course he can't do that. Jem finds her idol easily enough and starts rallying people against Ben. Ben mobilizes them against Jem. Maria and Charlie really are in the middle as they planned, and eventually they choose to go for Jem. And Jem's out without even playing her idol.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know that last bit kind of ended abruptly, but that's because what I wrote was Jem finds her idol easily enough and starts rallying against Ben. Ben mobilizes against Jem. Maria and Charlie really are in the middle. I didn't even end the sentence. I didn't put a period. I just started watching, kept watching, because interesting stuff. I as you can tell, because I was about when they started doing the salsa dancing. I wasn't annoyed by the salsa dancing. Salsa dancing was actually really rad, and I was really glad that they were giving us that much stuff in the other camps for a change.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, look, you got Yanu. They're dying there. They're dying out there. You know what I mean? They're like, we haven't eaten in 10 days. We like at one point Q actually tells them like, yeah, we eat like a coconut a day, and it's like that's all that they've been having for 10 days. They have no energy to do these things. Like, and then you have these other tribes that are just like dancing and laughing and having a good time while they're fat and happy. And I was just like, they've got to fix this disparity. And then, sure enough, Sega loses, and Yanu is safe. And actually, I'm really excited because there's going to be potentially a merge, but definitely a shuffle of some sort to, next week.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think this is the best possible mixture of people to have. 5-5-3. It's not like, remember, was it last year or the year before where one tribe went in with 6? It was like 6-5-3 or something like that. And it just became an obvious, all right, 5 and 3, we're going to team up and just vote out all of the 6.
Yep.
Yeah, like I think this is, I like this number of people to have.
Yeah, this is a good balance. It should work out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It all depends. It depends on Nami, because Nami still hasn't really started playing the game. Right? Like,
true.
They're down Randon, but that was a medivac. Like, Nami's the one who's winning all of the challenges, and Sega's the one who kept coming in second. So it's not that Sega was so great, it's just that Yanu was so bad.
Yeah.
And so we'll have to see if Nami can hold it together enough to keep that 5 together. And I don't know if they can. Like, between Hunter and Venus and Soda and...
Well, Venus, for like Soda, I could see sticking with the tribe. Venus, I could see not sticking. And funnily enough, like, I really do feel that Jem would have been a little chaos gremlin, and I'm sorry to see her go because I wanted to see her spread some. Yeah. Like, do you recall? Like I said, it's now Monday. It's been almost a week since I saw the episode. Do you recall why they voted out Jem? Did they see her being shady, or was it just, she seems like a good enough?
The girls wanted to get out Ben, but Charlie didn't like that vibe. He didn't like the way that felt, and so he talked with Ben and Tim, and Tim had the strong feeling that Jem was the one who had the idol. Jem had worked really hard to pin it on Tim, and I think they just ended up, I don't know if they ended up believing Tim, but I think Tim's kind of minor push to lean them all towards Jem was all that it took. And it was useful because they'd been talking about, Charlie's Angels and Charlie, the 3 women plus Charlie. And now we see, no, that doesn't work because Charlie didn't go with them. He went with the guys. So those girls are not in as good a position as they thought.
Yeah, I suppose we'll see more in the beginning of the next episode where they do the aftercare and all that. And maybe we'll get some more enlightenment on that, some more light on that subject. We'll see. Because I'd be interested to see what tipped it over. And I'm trying to think if like maybe I just kind of forgot, but sounds like I didn't. I feel bad. I liked Jem. I thought she was fine. But also like what do we say? You're not an alliance until you've drawn blood, and they hadn't done that yet.
And for what it's worth, Maria didn't vote Girl Strong either. Maria not only voted for one of the other girls, of the
She
Charlie's
used her
Angels.
vote.
Yeah, she hella voted for it.
Yeah,
So she highly valued her alliance, her one-on-one alliance with Charlie more than this whole Charlie Angels thing. I think it's something we've been talking about more and more. That the one-on-one alliances are stronger, and if you can maintain them and not have them get picked apart by a larger group, that's the way to go. And just have that one-on-one with multiple people. Like that's what Hunter's got going on. He's got a one-on-one with Tevin, and he's got a one-on-one with Venus. No, not Venus.
Yeah.
Soda? Is it Soda? I don't
Yes.
know. But that's what's happening on Nami. They're building one-on-one connections. Except for
Yeah.
Venus, she's not building shit.
Oh yeah.
I was hoping for a Venus and Gem team up. Like,
Yeah. I think Venus, now that she got through this stage of it, I'm interested to see what she'll do next. Like I could see a world where she is very devious and cunning and, scrapes through to the end or something, or probably eventually gets voted out for being a threat, and people are like, oh gosh, we got to get rid of her for that reason. But I could also see a world, because she hasn't really been tested yet, where she just falls flat on her face and gets screwed real fast.
yeah,
So we'll see how it goes, but I think she'll be. I have a good feeling about her.
I mean, the archetype for the attractive woman is get some guys to just kind of be her lapdogs, right? A la Austin and D.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening in this case. I don't think there's anyone.
I don't think she wants to play like that, and I don't think she's interested in that kind of a dynamic.
Yeah.
But then she's not building social bonds on her tribe, and I don't know if that's because she just is not, gelling with Tevin, and Soda's there too. Tevin's the one I was thinking of. Tevin's with Hunter, and Tevin's with Soda,
Yeah.
and Tevin's,
Oh yeah,
Tevin's
Tevin's with him.
yeah, he's building one-on-ones with a few different people. But Venus, like
Tevin,
that scene with Venus and Hunter was awkward to watch, where she's like following him around while he's looking for the idol.
yeah,
And she's saying in confessional, like, I know it's not here. Randon went home with it, and it's like, well, then it's there. It's gone. Like,
yeah,
it was removed from the beach, so they put a new one in. Like, not only is she overconfident in her position, and she's trying to buy Hunter, she's wrong.
But no, so maybe my memory is misfiring, but I recall the way I recall it. She said, now that he's gone, it's back in play, but she thought it wasn't right there because she was saying something or thinking something along the lines of like, if Hunter's looking for it, he hasn't found it yet, and if he's looking in this area, like they want us to find it, so it's not here. So I think she was trying to like pin him down, just be like, all right, I'm not going to let him move and walk around. And then eventually had to give up because he was giving complete non-answers.
Could be. I could be mistaken. I know part of it was that, like, Hunter's obviously a big fan and student of the game and all that kind of stuff. And so she's just like, if anybody's going to find it, it's going to be Hunter. And he's also the one like out swimming and fishing and doing all this. Like, he's the camp guy. If anybody's going to find it, it's probably going to be the camp guy.
Yeah. No, that's good deduction. And that speaks well of her. Like, she also there was another thing she said, I wish I could remember now because it was a couple episodes ago, and if I'm having a hard enough time remembering this episode, I'm definitely not going to remember a couple ago. But she said something very astute or not Brandon. He doesn't have a B in his name. She said something very astute to Randon, and he just kind of blew it off or whatever. And I remember we were kind of like, yeah, whatever. But it was she had a valid point. But yeah.
It's interesting. Liz is not out of hunting. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't need the money.
No, I know, and that's why it's like, look, she definitely belongs in the game, and there is a place in the game for rich folks to like.
Yes.
Like what's Shirin? Shirin said straight up, but she waited until after she was already out and she was in tribal council, like the final tribal council. That's just when she said, I wasn't here to win $1 million. I had already made my first $1 million by the time I was 26 or something like that. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like that's how you do it. But yeah, other folks like Liz is just like, I don't need the money, you guys. I don't need the money. It's all right. People don't think I should be here. It's like, So no, she belongs in the game, but also, well, with her allergies, maybe she doesn't belong in the game for her own safety.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any problem with wealthier people playing the game, and like like we've said before, multiple seasons now, like the general wealth of the player has gone up year over year, right?
Yeah. We don't
And
have dreams anymore, but also dreams sucked at the game, so it didn't
I
matter.
don't think they can do like what was it? Blue collar, white collar, no collar. They can't. I don't think they can do that. Can they get 6 blue collar people in one season? Still, I don't know.
I'd do it. They still got my application on file. It's only been 15 years, I think.
They'd put you as white collar though. You got an office job. They would totally put you as white
Office
collar.
job, I work in a warehouse.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a supervisor, but I still work in a warehouse. I lift things. I move things.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
come on.
So there's one. They got one.
All right, there we go.
Assuming you could get the month off without having to quit.
I could get a month off. No problem.
There you go.
I got a lot of PTO. Why do you think every now and again it's like, oh yeah, Nick can't record because he's in Baltimore?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, but like, there's no problem. Like, if you're out there to win, like if you're out there for the reputation to show the blah blah blah, like you got to actually want it. And I don't feel like Liz really wants it, you know. And like, he's the guy that always comes up. But Russell, also incredibly wealthy, played really hard. Maybe too hard. He was an asshole. All the problems with him as a player are there, and him as a person are there. But like, you know, you don't have to play like that, but you have to play hard like that. Like, I don't care if you need the money or not. Like, we're not here to watch people just kind of lay around on bamboo.
There is a
which is ironic because that's probably what happens 90% of the time.
Yeah. Well, I think about it. It's like, what do they do all day? They got 24 hours. They're going to sleep for probably 10 or like, well, try to sleep for 10 of it, but probably actually sleep for like 4 of it. And yeah, they got to find things to do. You can only gather so much wood, and yeah. But no, there's a thing in hockey that I don't really agree with, but it gets brought up, and I think it works well in this case where there are players who love to win and there's players who hate to lose. And you want to be in Survivor, you want to be a player who hates to lose. Because like Liz, she's just happy to be there. Like, she's living her Survivor dream. She's doing the things. She's happy to win. It's like, hey, good job, you guys. We did a good job. But if they lose, she's not going to be like, God damn it, why did we lose? Like Q getting so tired. Okay, well, Q pretending to be like at the brink of quitting, but really he's just like, yeah, no, I'm just doing this so that Kenzie will get into a sense of security, like I'm ready to go, and that'll give us an opportunity to blindside her or whatever. Like, yeah, that makes sense to me. But yeah, nobody did. I was going to ask who got the extra vote on their tribe, but it was Jelinski's opportunity, and he whiffed.
I wonder if Jelinski could have done every season, you know, all 20 seasons. There were 20 of them, right? So almost half of all the seasons they've done. I feel like if Hunter can't do it,
exactly, it's way too hard. Yeah. Like he did a good job. Essentially, like, okay, even though he only got 8 out of 20, he really did get more than that. He just got one wrong, and then that cascaded.
Yeah, he had them kind of grouped in ballparks. It's not like he put one like 10 spots out of the way, right? He had them all kind of like this kind of era of Survivor and this kind of era of Survivor. You know, he kind of had them grouped up close to each other, just like 1 or 2 off, like you're saying. I just feel like this is something Jeff did comment on in his podcast. He was saying, like, you know, he was against this kind of puzzle in the past, but he said that other players actually convinced him that it would be okay because there's always an element of luck in Survivor, and who knows what challenge you're going to get. It could be one you're good at, could be one you're not good at. It's all a matter of luck. But I feel like this requires a special level of superfan, and I don't even know, like, it's something casting would have to know, right? Like, what percentage of the people on this season do you think could reasonably do this challenge?
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I don't mind a challenge like this, like what you were talking about in Jeff's podcast, where he doesn't like ones that rely on luck. So I don't have a problem with this style of thing. Just 20 seasons was a lot of seasons to have to do.
Yeah. And to get them exactly right, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, you know, okay, if they had said you've got to get 15 out of 20 right, now he still would have lost, but I would have felt like, okay, that's better. Or give more time. I don't know how much time was in that sand hourglass. So, like, Yeah. If they'd given him
Yeah.
more time, but for all I know, maybe like we just saw that sand timer. That could have been a 20-minute timer. That could have been a 5-minute timer.
Yeah, with
I don't
editing,
know.
it's impossible to know.
Yeah. So but if we're assuming it's a short amount of time, because it didn't look significantly larger than the other timers they've used, if we're assuming it's not that much time, then yeah, I think maybe give a little bit more time. He would have, in that case, he still would have been wrong, because I remember him saying something like, "Oh yes, All Star was like season 8 or something." I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure it's season 7." And so I was like, "Okay, yeah, he's not gonna get it right," but like he would have had more time to be like, wait, because there was one that he was way off on, and that's why he had a whole bunch that were off by one, because he had those ones in the right spot, but because he was way off on one of them, all of those other ones ended up being off by one.
Yeah, and
So
I think it's production's bad luck that it was Hunter, honestly, because if it were like Tim or Q and they went out there and like, oh fuck, I haven't been watching since the beginning. I've only been watching since like, season 18 or whatever, right? Like, okay, then you have a built-in excuse for them losing, right? But Hunter not only was it 2 episodes we saw his living room full of replicas of puzzles and Survivor games, and like he has this shit strewn around his house. Like that's the level of fan he is for the show. And he was able to talk about all these seasons. He had watched all of them.
Yeah.
Just not in order. He binge watched all of them with a friend. They went down a tier list basically instead of watching them in order. And it's like, man, if it's not this guy, how many was it?
Yeah, it won't be anyone. Like I'll put it this way: like it's just a calibration error, is all. Like that. Like the idea and the they're doing these kinds of puzzles for the first time. It is, I would say, it's kind of bad luck that they've done all of these puzzles so far and nobody has succeeded in them. Like the build a cube out of these blocks, nobody's succeeded in that. Mm-hmm. The lying one, well, somebody just friggin' gave up. So yeah, it's bad luck, but also this one is the one that could have been good, but calibration, they made it too hard. That's fine.
Or just find something other than 20 seasons. Yeah, maybe it's 20 is too many. Maybe they weren't far enough apart. Maybe you do winners. I don't know.
Oh,
figure something out.
No, I think about it. 10 seasons would have been enough. 10 seasons and less time, because especially if you got some of the more obscure seasons, like I feel like that could have, like Tahiti. Like nobody really remembers Tahiti.
Yeah, and this is also a challenge they can't do 10 years from now, right? Like put 41, 42, 43, 44, especially based on the logos that all look fucking the same. Oh my god.
Also, don't they have the number in the logo?
Yeah, they do. But if they take the number out, it's just the same logo in different colors.
Yeah. That's why. So, like, there was there's Wordle and all that. There was this version of Wordle that was history, and what you would do is you would put something on the timeline, and then you'd have to like put it between 2 events or 3 events or whatever, that sort of thing. And every now and again, because it was just dragged from Wikipedia, like you would occasionally get one like War of 1812, and it's like, well, I'm pretty sure that started in 1812. You would get little things like that from time to time. It's like, little godsend. Yeah. And so it'd be the same thing. Survivor 40, 41, 42, 43.
So let's talk about the immunity challenge a little bit.
Okay.
It was one that it was another purely physical one. They're trying to throw Yanu a bone. Bounce it for 3 people, make it purely physical, and you can't repeat. But there were some fun moments in the challenge. I liked the dramatic slow motion, but I was so expecting Q to miss the shot.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been the great thing about putting slow motion there in that moment is there's still the suspense in it, right? It could go either way, and either way it went would have merited the dramatic slow motion.
Yeah. Also, the way that Jeff was dogging them the entire time, I was like, this is getting excessive. Come on.
I know, from the very beginning, last tribe to finish, otherwise known as... Oh, I thought you were going to say Yanu. It was like,
damn, that was fucked up.
Brutal.
But, yeah. But also, I feel like they would have edited it. Like, if they had lost, I feel like some of the... some of the dogging them that he did during the challenge probably would have been edited out. Like this gave some extra, what's the word I'm looking for? It zhuzhed it up a little bit, a little extra mustard on it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I also liked the everybody just nodding when Bhanu was gone. There was not a single shocked face. No, because not only you see in challenges this and that, but they got the intel from last week from the journey. They all knew where Bhanu was, or was it 2 weeks ago, 2 episodes ago? Yeah, it was the random episode. But like they all knew it was coming, because whether or not Bhanu was telling them the truth, like unless, and somebody said on one of the tribes, unless he's a fucking amazing actor and deserves an Oscar, like dude, that guy's it's done. So it confirms everybody knows what happened with Bhanu, and everybody heard the genuine and true information that he gave them. So Yanu's kind of fucked.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe you won a couple more hearts. Still missing R3, unfortunately. But yeah, it was good. It was a good challenge. I felt bad for Yanu because I thought, like, they're going to be too weak to pull that slingshot back all the way, but they got it. So good for them. Yeah. Good for them.
The platform's perfect. You get the little bars there. You can lean back with your feet braced against them. Just use your body weight and gravity.
I also thought it was weird. Okay, this is a bit of a just getting in the weeds with it. But that obstacle course they had to go through at the very beginning, there was a trap door they had to open. And every single one of them that went through it had to open the trap door, which implies that somebody closed the trap door each time. And we never saw it happen. And I'm like, did the players close it? Did a production assistant close it? Did it just, I don't know, flap closed by itself 9 times? I don't know.
Maybe they built in a closing mechanism so once somebody's clear, they can just push a button and it shuts back again.
It also really seemed like just kind of an unnecessary thing that was even, well, no, I guess safety reasons you would want to have it there. So I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want people running and then, drop a foot down the hole or smack into the board that's up.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about Soda? I have been back and forth on Soda, and I did not like her grabbing the idol from Venus. But I'm firmly anti-Soda after this episode, when she called Venus a walking stick bug. Like, not wrong, but also, why are you body shaming? Like,
whatever. No, it's fine. I look, they don't get along, and it's fine. I still like Soda, but I don't think she's gonna go much further than this. I think she's a good target, a good compromise target. Like Tevin. So unless Nami somehow sticks together and weathers this initial rounds, or also unless people are genuinely, all right, it's everyone for themselves now, alliances be damned, and I don't see that happening. But I think Tevin is the first one out just because he's so popular and so charismatic and frankly entertaining. And then Soda, because Soda is also very charismatic and has a lot of is able to bridge that gap. So I'm pretty sure that she'll be gone, which is unfortunate, but it happens.
I will say Soda did get harassed for the body shaming really poorly on social media, and she deleted all of her social media after all the harassment after this episode. And like, man,
yeah, that's excessive.
People
can mind their own goddamn business.
Yeah, I'm not here for the body shaming, but also like, like I can understand some dumb shit slipping out of your mouth in that situation. Like, you're tired, it's a person you don't like, you're hungry, you've been out on this beach for 2 weeks. Like, everybody makes mistakes, and hers happened to be on national television. You don't gotta fucking abuse somebody because of it.
Look, I'm a noted skinny person. I have been called. I had a teacher say that I was like a duck because I just ate and shit. I've had all kinds of stuff like this. I don't mind. Like, I heard the walking stick thing. I did not care. It didn't even register as like, ooh, body shaming. It's like, guys, everyone needs to just fucking calm down. You know what I mean? Like, mind your own business. Like, don't just jump. Like, if it does not the least bit surprise me that the person who gets accused of body shaming is a larger woman and a black woman. You know what I mean? Like, that's the one that's like, yeah, we're gonna come down on her. If Hunter had said like, oh, that little walking stick over there or whatever, nobody would have given a shit. Like, but the fact that it's like, ooh, it's the equivalent of crying reverse racism, because, oh, I can't make fun of her for being fat, but she called someone skinny, so I can say she should know better, or some bullshit like that. That's why I'm like, everybody just shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I guarantee you that Venus did not even register it as like as an insult. People, mind your own goddamn business.
I mean, yes, you're right about it, because she's a larger black woman. That's why the pushback was probably 10 times stronger than it would have been if it were anybody else on the season. But, you know, I mean, body shaming is body shaming, and like, it's fine if it doesn't affect you, but I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who it does.
Oh, look, sorry. What I'm trying, I have had body issues as a result of it. Don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, you know, your teacher doesn't grab you by the belt and start shaking you, and you just let that not affect you the rest of your life. It's fine, and I've worked through it. That's why I mean it's fine. But what I'm saying is, like, you guys, like, let here. All right, if I call you a stupid idiot, or I call Brian a stupid idiot, or whatever, right? Like, we all know, like, anyone listening to this, you know, okay, he doesn't really mean it. Whatever, it's fine. These are things that happen all the time, and you don't have to go to bat for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, if Venus is offended by that, let Venus be offended by that. Like, when Jeff Varner outed Zeke,
yes,
like, let Zeke be angry about that. And then, because of the way Zeke handled it, like, you know, Jeff suffered consequences, but like, people weren't, or like, didn't have to like just jump on his ass. And like, are you really going to tell me that what Soda said is worse than what Jeff did? And I was just like, guys, calm down.
I just like, everybody makes mistakes sometimes, and like, you know,
everyone makes mistakes, and then also like, look,
like, don't jump on her ass to the degree that she has to delete social media before she even gets an opportunity to apologize or talk to Venus. Like, it's just like, the episode came out, and then like 6 hours later, shit was deleted. Like, that's like, come, you know, people, well-fed people on a full night's rest with safety and security make dumb mistakes. And they should be afforded a little bit of grace. Like, you know, what Soda did, that's, you know, that is body shaming. But like, give a little bit of grace and recognize, like, the other piece of it is production could have not included that. And production is highly aware of what happens to some of these players on social media. They are highly aware. Some people have had some really nasty shit sent their way over social media because of what happened in this game. So production knows when they choose to not cut something like this, there will be consequences, which I think you have to imply this is in here for a reason, not necessarily to show you that Soda is a terrible fucking person, but it's in here probably for a gameplay reason that will come up. Like, next episode's The Merge. This is probably foreshadowing that Soda and Venus are not going to get along.
Well,
like,
also
they're going
they
to split up.
Not along.
Right, but like, there's a whole reason within the show that we all watch because we like the show, that this is in here. And the conversation's not about that. The conversation is about how Soda is a terrible fucking person for one mistake. Like,
yeah.
No,
No,
we're all watching a show we all like. Let's talk about the show. Like, that's why it's here, because it matters for the show, or they wouldn't include it. They only got 90 minutes to show you 48 hours worth of stuff from 3 separate camps.
In the incredibly unlikely event that Soda hears this, I still think you're cool. I don't give a shit. You said what you said. Maybe you shouldn't have said it, but also I really don't give a shit. And people say that kind of stuff. Sorry, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, people say it all the time, get over it. No, what I'm saying is, like, guys, you don't need to jump on her for saying it. And honestly, if you don't think, like, oh, you just really wanted to give it to a black lady. Like there's definitely a component
that
of
plays in no matter what you do.
yeah,
Like,
and it's like, guys, yeah, just everyone calm the fuck down. Soda, you're awesome. Keep being cool. Oh, she's a camp counselor. No, Hunter's a
special
camp
ed teacher.
counselor. She's a special ed teacher. It's like, yeah, you're doing the Lord's work,
She
and
100% knows how words can hurt. If you teach special
yeah,
ed kids, you 100% know how words can hurt.
yeah.
Like of
But
all fucking
also
jobs.
to the rest of the internet at large, mind your own business and just assume, you know what? Maybe these are two adults. They can handle this themselves. Venus doesn't need this pretty white woman doesn't need me to rush to her defense. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. All right, just shut up. And okay, the racists out there, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. So I get it. You suck. Whatever. You know how I feel about you. Fuck off and die. It's the people who don't think that they're racist who are like going after it. And just ask yourself, why do I actually care what this woman said to that other woman? Who like neither of whom know that I exist. Why do I care?
That point too, Nick, is almost irrelevant. Like whether or not the person saying it feels or doesn't realize or doesn't think or even isn't racist, that doesn't matter for the person sending it. The fact is that Soda is a black woman in America.
Yeah.
And whether or not the intent is there, like it's going to be received in that way because that's her lived experience.
Oh,
like,
no, I mean, well, yeah.
I hear where you're coming from. It's happening because of racism, but like whether or not the person sending it, like it's almost irrelevant. Like you need to think about how words matter differently for black people.
Right. Sorry, what I was trying to get at was that like these are people who don't consider themselves racist, but it's like, you're really going to say that? It's like, why are you really angry? And it's like, oh yeah, because I am internally racist a little bit.
Even if you're not at all. That's what I'm trying to say. Even if you're not at all, Soda is a black woman and she's going to read it as racist and that's going to affect her lived trauma. Like it doesn't matter if you are or aren't racist. You send that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying now.
It comes to her as racist regardless.
Yeah. Okay, we are saying the same thing then. Yeah.
Same thing from different angles.
I'll put it this way, I in other regards, like other things that I've watched and read on the internet lately, I'll be in the middle of posting like a reply, even if it's just like a simple like reply, not like piling on or anything, just like blah 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 whatever. I sometimes like get in the middle of it and going like, do I really need to say this? I'm like, nah, I'm good, and I just
delete so many comment replies now.
Yeah, like these aren't even like snarky replies or anything like that or sarcasm. It's just kind of like, nobody really cares, and I just stop, and that's fine. Yeah. Like, am I doing this just because I'm like that's things like, guys, if you're out there and you're like, Soda needs to know that I think she was wrong, then it's like, nah, she doesn't. It's all right. Yeah. I guarantee you someone else has already said it, and that's good.
That's more than enough.
Yeah, that's enough. All right.
So
speaking of that's enough, is that enough, or do you have more you want to add?
I do want to point out that Maria did not do a ton this episode. It felt like she picked a side and she stuck with Ben, and Ben stuck with her. Not Ben, Charlie. She stuck with Charlie and Charlie stuck with her. But Maria did big brain moves here, and she maybe knew it or maybe didn't. Ben didn't know. Ben's the only one who knew that he didn't have a vote, right?
Yeah.
Maria cast her extra vote. So there are 6 votes in that pool on a tribe of 6, even though Ben did not have a vote. So potentially, the only one who knows that Ben didn't have a vote, the only one who could know that the extra vote even happened. No, because they knew she had it, right? So they knew, okay. But
yeah, and what I'm trying to...
Sorry, go.
What I'm trying to think of is, I remember when Ben got back and he explained what happened. I forget if he said it, because this is when Bhanu, it was him and Bhanu and
he said he didn't play or something. I don't remember exactly, but it was the effect of like, there was an opportunity to blah blah blah, and I didn't do it. I just came back.
And I forget is if he said, I don't know if I have a vote or not, because I think that he, if I'm recalling correctly, he tried to leave it open that like, oh yeah, whether I have a vote or not depends on how how the other person did,
Right.
as a way of like leaving it open. Like maybe I do have it. Do you really want to risk it? You know I don't, but maybe I have some other thing. So I don't recall. Right. I should have gone back. You know, considering how many days we had between these, going back actually would have been a possibility. But
like, to put that focus back on Maria, when Maria submitted her votes, she spelled Jem 2 different ways. She spelled one as Jem, one as Jamila, and she did it in different handwriting, one in cursive, one in print.
That's smart.
So now Maria can go back to camp, and she's the only one with verifiably correct information. She can go to Ben and like, I know you didn't have a vote, and I know it because I played mine, right? And it squared out to 6. So she can go be like, I know that you didn't do it. Like,
I have a feeling though that won't be as big of a deal as we think it is. I know that you didn't test the vote.
Probably not. But I appreciate the level of gameplay from Maria to get this information. Like that's higher level gameplay that's super subtle.
Yeah, especially the not spelling the name the same way twice. That was clever.
Like if you see Jeff pulling if you were going to see Jeff pulling all 6 of them out, you wouldn't know that 2 of them were from the same person. You wouldn't know it for sure. And it also covers her ass too. Right? Maria can go back and tell who's it? Mariah, the other one of the Charlie's Angels, like, I don't know, it wasn't me.
Well, me, it was the one-armed man.
It wasn't me. There were 6 votes. There's 6 of us. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yep. Okay, is that it?
Yeah, I think so. We could mull back and forth about where Sega and Nami are going to be and which one's in a stronger position come merge. But I think we'll just have fun with that conversation later.
Yeah, well, also because I have no opinion on it. I really don't know. I mean, it's 5 and it's 5. Probably Sega, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Nami has more divisions in it, but they haven't had to go to tribal, so those are all theoretical divisions at this point. After this episode, Sega will have real divisions.
Yeah.
You know, they're closer knit tribe, but the line's in the sand now after having been to tribal.
Yar.
Yep, fun stuff. Did Brian have a note? Oh yeah, he loved the slow motion, and he says it sucks that he has Jem because Jem made Jeff laugh, and Jem played her idol, got her idol, but didn't play it. Like, just so many points left on the table.
Oh yeah. Poor Jem.
Yeah. Speaking of those points, fantasy. We did not have any bets resolved this episode, but we will have one next week because Nick, you have episode 6 for the drop your buff bet. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the only one still in the pickle winner pool is you also with Nick. I'm out of that, and so is Brian. We got all our other bets. If you go to outwitoutplayoutcast.com on the left, there's a link that says fantasy. You click on that, it'll show you all of our bets and our scoring. Speaking of scoring, Nick, buddy, I'm sorry. You came into the week in last with 19 points. And you have Tevin, Tiffany, and Hunter, who are great players, but all they did was win immunity, so that's only 1 point each.
So that's fine. Hunter's going to get his idol next episode anyway.
Yeah, he'll get his idol, and then he'll start dominating in individual challenges. So that's 3 on your 19, giving you 22. Brian had Venus, Kenzie, and Jem. Venus and Kenzie only got him 1 each because their tribes won immunity challenges. And then Jem would have gotten points, but was eliminated, so that's 0. So that's 2 on his 29, giving him 31. I came into the week in second place with 25 points. I have Q, who only got 1 point. But I have Maria and Ben. And Ben got me 5 points. 3 for surviving tribal council. You get a lot of points for going to tribal council, but not getting voted out. You want to have those players on your team because it's kind of like playing with fire. You get a lot of points for it. It's risky, though. In this game, fire represents your life. That was a terrible version of that. Oh, man. I've done that so much better in other episodes.
Notably awful.
That was a fucking mess. Anyway, Ben got me 5 points because he survived tribal council and he survived 2 votes getting his thrown away, which is also like playing with fire and fire representing your life. Maria got me 4 points for surviving that tribal council and playing her advantage. So that's actually 10, which is a lot of points right now on my 25, rocketing me in the first place. So I've got 35. Brian's got 31. You have 22. I'm assuming you don't want to make any changes?
No, I don't. I don't know. Brian didn't tell us who he was going to replace Jem with.
Yeah, I don't want to make any changes either. I don't know if I love Q. I think Ben and Maria are going to be tight with Charlie in the middle. So I'm happy to have them. And I'll keep Q along for a little while. I think if anybody from Yanu is going to get voted right away, it's probably going to be Kenzie. Because Bhanu said that she's the real mastermind behind everything.
Yeah.
So I think if any one of the 3 of them is getting picked off, it's going to be her. So,
but I would like to see a cross alliance, a cross tribe alliance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, so for instance, when Q and Hunter and was it Tim?
Yes. Yeah, it
I
was
think
Tim.
so. Yeah, like them, and then Kenzie and Venus or something like that, or like just something completely off the wall. I guess Tiffany would have to be the other one that would join because Q's not going to leave her behind, and Kenzie cannot be trusted. So, yeah, I don't know. Something like that would be really fantastic, but yeah, it's not going to happen.
No, it's one of those things they talk about, and then as soon as the vote actually comes up, they're
Yeah,
gonna stick with their tribe. You stick with the easy
yeah.
one.
Well, we'll find out. We'll message Brian over Facebook, see who he wants to pick up, and we'll find that out in time for the next episode, which will be next week, which will be actually 2 days from now.
When we record, it'll get posted. You know, we always do this as a
Yeah, it'll
recap
all
show
work
the day
out.
before.
Sure.
Like, listen to this before the show comes out. Remember what happened last week, even though we don't.
Yeah, and I am much better about remembering what day is Tuesday now. It's much better. So these will come out on time, like the last couple have. So we will see you guys next time on time. Goodbye.
Man, we gotta do this without Brian more often.
No, we need 3. Otherwise, also, well, I am glad he wasn't on this one because I could not imagine what he would say about the body shaming.
I know.
I'm really glad. I'm like, oh, that would be uncomfortable. But also, I'm like, yeah, who cares? I really do feel like people are making too big of a deal out of it. It's like, guys. Venus is never going to suck your dick. Shut up.
It's the same. We're saying the same thing for different reasons. Like, it's not your fucking business. Leave it alone.
Yeah. Well, I just honestly, in general, feel people online care way too goddamn much about everything. And it's like, guys, you can't be this mad all the time.
Yeah, why was this worth your time to harass this person so bad?
Do you feel good about that? You feel good? Yeah, you know what? I feel good because this is the first I've heard about it, and my response was, guys, you need to shut the fuck up.
It's the way it's directed to. Right, like you can hop on Twitter, I guess it's X now, and be like, "Oh man, that body shaming in this week's episode of Survivor was kind of cringe." And maybe hashtag Survivor if you really wanted to, or at CBS Survivor, fine. And then that just goes out into the ether, and people who are your friends, you can have a discussion in your own little group. But like, you have to go the extra step to tag Soda to show her that you don't like her, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, it's awful. There's a really good book called So You've Been Publicly Shamed, and it's by John Ronson. And it's all about that, how, like, people will just form these online lynch mobs. And he didn't say lynch mobs, but in this case, it fits very appropriately. Mm. Like, it just creates these online mobs, and it's, like, he has some really good examples. And he is in there saying, like, no, there are times when it's inappropriate. Like, the CEO of this company did this terrible thing, and it was very appropriate for people to say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, and you should feel bad about yourself.
You stole 401k retirement funds? Yeah, you should feel bad. I'm going to publicly
like that. But, like, that lady who was on the plane to South Africa, and she tweeted out a stupid joke to her, like, 10 followers, and somehow that got picked up, and when she landed, she had already been fired from her job, and people had been tracking her plane and all that. It's like, okay, you guys, she's just one person, and it wasn't even a bad joke. It was just like, whatever, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, and
people just need to mind their own goddamn business and have some.
People will make mistakes. Like in that case, like give her 2 hours to think about it and delete it.
Yeah. Well, actually, in that case, it wasn't even that. So, she was in the middle of. She was in the Heathrow Airport, and she was just tweeting about, again, to like 10 people. So, like, this is just her close personal friends, essentially. And saying, like, oh, man, I'm next to a German guy. He smells really bad. Oh, Heathrow, it's such a weird airport. Whatever, that sort of thing. And then her last thing, which was a joke that somebody else had told just recently and had no problem with it, was, well, off to South Africa, hope I don't get AIDS. And it's like, yeah, it's a stupid joke, but also it's like, dude, it's just you and your 4 friends. You know what I mean? It's like, people say stupid stuff like that all the time. they don't lose their jobs over it. Doesn't matter. You can read it, and there's a lot more to it, and it's really interesting. But whatever. I'm gonna go to bed after replying to all these messages about dad movies because I feel very strongly about this.
Yes. Is this gonna be for Takadu? Because I'm excited.
No, but man, we'll probably bring it into that.
Yeah, because there was a new one, and I was like, yeah, just showed up in the feed.
I'm going to be editing another one, and then it'll release next week. We haven't recorded for a little while just because of the way timing has worked out, but we're probably going to record next week. So, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, bye.